Good morning, sixth grade ELA students. I'm here to obviously give you an update about this week and what it all entails. Dun dun dun! Lucky for you, this is a catch-up week. Now, what does that mean? That does not mean that you are essentially off for the week and excused of doing any language arts work. However, Ms. Brown and I had a conversation this past Friday about how we feel like we maybe are getting some of your assignments in later than when they are due. And we feel like we still have not yet received all assignments up until this point. So we're giving you that time to kind of go back, review some of the assignments that you submitted or that you haven't gotten to yet, and spend that time this week going through them, finishing them, and so forth. The only thing that you will be assigned is to make sure that you have read up until chapter 15 of Walk Two Moons. Okay, so what I'm going to do right now in this video is just do a quick run through of Google Classroom and where you can find certain items. Okay, so here we go. I click on classwork. We are focusing on language arts, so I'm going to scroll down. Okay, so hopefully as time goes on, we can eliminate some of these assignments material just to kind of alleviate what's posted on the Google Classroom for you guys. Okay, so just a pleasant reminder, yes, you are still having a Term 4 book project. Okay, that will be due in June. You click on this. Here is the link to the book project directions for Term 4. Okay, you want to begin a new Term 4 project starting next week. This was assigned many weeks ago. You can choose any book that is on grade level, not made into a movie, and not one you've read before. You may complete any project even if you've done it before. Happy reading. Okay, and that will be due the first week in June, which is a Thursday, and that date is June 4th. Okay, so you are still required to do a Term 4 book project. Okay, now, one of the main things that we're focusing on is reading of our novel, which is Walk Two Moons. Again, this is the online book. You don't have to purchase anything. You don't have to search for anything. If you have a hard copy, awesome. If you don't, this is the link as well as the PDF version. You just pull it right up, and it is divided up by each chapter. Okay. The phase 2 of our closing for our week 1, we had assigned to you a figurative language assignment. The directions, as you read chapters 1 through 4, identify the figurative language that you came across, determine what figurative language type and what it's really saying. Okay, you wanted to use your figurative language notes to help you. If you wanted to have read first and then go back and check your for figurative language, that's totally acceptable too. So all that we asked you to do was give your figurative language quote, put it in this box, determine what type of figurative language it is and what it really means. And there were 2 pages to this assignment. Now, we had also posted for you the figurative language guide, okay? These were the notes, definitions, examples to help you with this assignment. Okay, moving ahead. We had the Endymion Spring narrative assignment. You were asked to read the excerpt from this story. It's about a page and a half that we gave you. Sorry, my screen's lagging. There were a couple quick questions to answer. You were graded on those separately. And then you had a part 2 to this. Which was obviously the ending the story, continuing on, what happens to Blake. Okay, we also included for you a organizer, okay? Most of you did this, some of you did not. Again, when you're doing any type of writing assignment, it's just good practice to fill in information on an organizer to, help with your thoughts in writing going forward. We then asked that you finish your story on this document. Not a huge deal if you didn't, not a big deal if you sent it through email. As long as we have it, we'll have it in iPass. But again, we ask that you please use the blank document to complete the narrative writing assignment. And again, your story going forward. We know that our character Blake, he's in a library. The portion of the story leaves off where there is a book that flies off the shelf, as if the book wants Blake to turn it over and see what it's about. Your task was to then continue on. What happens to Blake? What conflict arises for him? And then how does he work through this conflict? What's the resolution of the story? Okay, you just wanted to follow the plot structure. Okay, last week, you were assigned a create your own poetry book assignment. Sorry guys, it's lagging. Bear with me here. My connection's not that strong apparently. Let's just click on this one. Okay, just so I have for you the assignment in the packet and what it looks like. Okay, so basically for this assignment, you were asked to create your own poetry book. Okay, we're still focusing on figurative language, things like that. In Walk Two Moons, there are a couple examples of certain poems that you will get to reading. Okay, you had a couple options of how to create this book. So you could have either used paper, crayons, markers, took pictures, sent it to it that way. You could have used this mystorybook.com. The link is a little wonky. You had to play around with it. Either way, you have to publish your storybook. There is no payment required for this, and then send it to us that way. Or easy way, you could create a book using Google Slides or a Google document. This allows you to use pictures, fun fonts, things like that. You needed a front cover, a table of contents. Then we asked that you create a total of 10 poems. So this is what we asked of you to do. Some of you have already given us different topics. That's okay, totally acceptable. But we asked that you create a free verse poem that's nature related, a syncane, which is you had to pick one of the seasons, a poem that included onomatopoeia or alliteration that was math based. Could have been a poem about math class, a math topic, imagery, any theme, ocean, hiking, you want to tap into those 5 senses. Shape or concrete, we asked you to create a poem based on a science topic, something that you're learning about or have learned about. Limerick, pick one of your holidays. Sonnet, seasonal. Narrative, any theme that you want, any topic. And then you had 2 free choice poems. So you could have picked one of these and picked any topic. Okay. So again, we're not just going to leave you in the dark. As any good teacher would, we're going to give you examples and definitions of each. So we have a free verse poem and we have an example. We have syncanes, we have the definition as well as the structure and some examples. going on, onomatopoeia, alliteration, imagery, figurative language. We have an example of shape or concrete poems. We have a shape poem right here. Sonnets, emphasize that it has to follow a certain rhyme scheme. Narrative poetry. Okay. So from here on out, those are the assignments that we ask that you try to have completed by the end of this week. If you are someone that has completed all the assignments and they've been turned in and you've received a grade back, you have nothing to worry about. The only thing that you do need to worry about and make sure that you have done is to read the Walk to Moons chapters. You should be 13, 14, 15 at this time. And again, the link in the PDF is on Google Classroom. Do not forget to fill out the Sal and Phoebe's journey. Keep adding to that as you read. Later on this week, what I am going to be giving to you guys is a video as a think aloud that I'm going to create on how I would go about filling out this log, okay, and what important details to include. Please check in with Miss Brown and I for our Google Classroom, our Google Meets. We're holding them Tuesday morning. Feel free to pop in with any questions, comments, clarification for work, okay? Also, too, we are more than welcome to schedule individual meetings with you if you feel more comfortable working one-on-one. Let us know. Thank you. Have a good afternoon.